From a sporting nation in the making to building India's sports legacy, moving into the future, India's sports industry has been moving forward, rather surging forward at a very fast pace. To talk about it, we have Mr. Vinit Karnik, the head of sports, esports, and entertainment at GroupM. From a sporting nation, from being a sporting nation in the making to now talking about building a sports legacy, please help us understand where is this journey in Indian sport coming from and where is it headed?
Firstly, Srini, thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's a great conversation and a very enriching one as always. So thank you very much for that. Now, talking about the sporting nation in the making and the journey from that towards now building a legacy, I think it's a great story that we need to tell the world in terms of the way India has actually developed over the last 17, 18 years in the world of sport. So just to put things into perspective, okay, in 2008, when IPL just got inaugurated, our sports industry was about 2,400 crores from a sheer sports sponsorship standpoint, right? Today, we are sitting in 2024 and we are calling it industry of a size of 15,766 crores, right? Now that's the journey at a CAGR of 13.3% year on year, okay? Now that's the growth that we have seen in this sector, in this industry. And I think I'm fortunate to see that journey from a everyday 24/7 basis. So that's the segue which is very important for our viewers to understand and appreciate industry which was almost non-existing at that point in time. Now, why do we call it an industry which is building a legacy? Yes, we all know that IPL and cricket is the biggest sport in the country. No prizes to guess that. But guess what? I mean, post 2008, there are 10 plus Premier Leagues today in the world of football, kabaddi, badminton, volleyball, hockey, table tennis, and kho-kho, and many more, right? All of them have sustained and survived. Right now, that's a very, very important thing because we all feel that cricket is the only sport which is driving it. Yes, it's correct. 84% of this country's sporting economy is cricket, but other sports have also sustained and are growing. Okay, and that's the reason why we feel that it's very important that we move the needle and take it to the next level now. Another point I wanted to make is today we see a lot of thrust put on health and wellness. Okay, we see morning walks, morning runners everywhere in our neighborhood, right? Today we are in this report stating that the participative sport industry has crossed 1,000 crores in its sponsorship amount.
Now, I'll come to the participative sports bit. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to run a marathon these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, people have been coaxing me to participate in one. But before I get there, the important part is, when you talk about, there have been substantiative gains, right, in terms of, the commercials around. And when we talk about legacy in the making, of course, much depends on how the economy of Indian sport has been unraveling itself. So can you talk a bit about what those gains are in specifics in terms of, what kind of numbers are we looking at? For example, I'll talk about the previous year, one of the high points of, what India was discussing, and primarily because much of the news tends to revolve around cricket.
Right.
So one of the high points last year was about, Indian cricket gaining 1,000 plus crore in sponsorships.
Yeah.
And it was the Indian Premier League, sorry.
Premier League, yeah.
And central sponsorships, not the broadcaster, the central sponsors. So, and this year you have just the title sponsor that's come at 500 crore.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and then other sports included. Can you talk about what kind of gains?
Why only look at sponsorship? We all know that today the title sponsor of Indian Premier League is paying 500 crores. But look at it from a broadcast and streaming perspective. Okay, I think the previous right cycle got a 6,400 odd crores, 16,400 odd crores. Yeah, for the 5 years right cycle. The current right cycle which is on is almost got about 48 to 49,000 crores. Right now, that's a huge gain, right? So that's in line with if there's a doubling of revenues on ground, there's doubling of revenues in terms of media spends as well. So just to put that into perspective, okay, last year is the first time we saw digital advertising growing as high as 40%, maybe at a smaller base, but it did grow at a 40% base. Now that's a great sign, right? I mean, today we all talk about digital India, digital economy, and that's somewhere linking back to sports as well.
In hindsight, when this journey began, the digital journey in Indian cricket particularly,
Yeah.
when it began, was the industry a little more skeptical than it is today?
So I don't think it's about skeptical from a viewership standpoint. I think a lot of things have happened, Srini, in the last 5 to 8 years. Firstly, the entire journey of data consumption itself has changed, okay? Geo came in and democratized the entire data space. So today, if you see our data penetration, our mobile penetration is highest, one of the highest in the world, right? So therefore, we all know it's a mobile first market. So people are watching it on phone, people are watching it on connected televisions, people are watching on multiple screens. So digital consumption has gone up is a no-brainer, right? And that's actually seen very positively in the sporting world as well. Today, every sport, why only live sport? Today, you can look at gaming. Most of the gaming tournaments which are big are being streamed on platforms, right? So there is an interest coming from consumers, and that's the reason why platforms are investing in that kind of content. So I think it's somewhere a lot of things are falling in place from a storytelling standpoint. So
I'll come to the digital bit again later, because I want to, India is a very unique market. When we talk about digital empowerment, we just don't talk about last mile in general, but we talk about last mile from a very regional connect perspective.
Right.
So that takes it to a next level. But before I get there, the primary debate and discussion still revolves around this fact that much of whatever happens in India still tends to revolve only around cricket, rather majorly around cricket. So for that, what is your answer? Like, we've begun this conversation on a very brilliant note that, we are building a legacy. Now, are we building a cricketing legacy, or are we building a sports legacy?
Most certainly a sports legacy, and let me give you a couple of reasons of why. See, I mean, I'm absolutely don't shy about saying that cricket is the biggest sport in the country, and why not? I mean, we are proud about it, right? And it will remain a big sport and the biggest sport for time to come, right? Having said that, when we're talking about building a legacy in world of sport, that's not the only yardstick I would want to measure this with, okay? So a couple of reasons, okay? I already mentioned that we have got 10 plus Premier Leagues other than cricket, and sustained Premier Leagues. I mean, it's not that it's been 12 to 13 years of ISL or a Kabaddi League, and that's a serious time.
10 years of ISL.
Absolutely. So that's a great journey. More importantly, look at it from an India standpoint, what all we have done in the last 12 to 15 years. We have hosted 3 to 4 Cricket World Cups, okay? ODIs, T20s. We have hosted 3 F1 leagues in India in the both international circuit. Yeah, we just hosted MotoGP Bharat.
Yes.
Yeah, we hosted Hockey World Cups, maybe 2 or 3 of them, right? Our medal tally.
The under-17 football.
Under-17 football, absolutely. The medal tallies in Japan only doubled. Yeah, we crossed 100 plus medals in Asian Games.
And the IOC such it.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, these are multiple reasons why we are saying that the needle has moved from we being a sporting nation in the making to now we being a sporting nation where we are building a legacy. And as I said, I mean, participative sports. I mean, 1,000 crores, yeah. So today I have no doubts to say, I mean, imagine the economy growing at a CAGR of 13.3%, okay? It's a cumulative economy. Yes, cricket rules the roost at 84%, no problem. I think all the other sports are catching up. We have an ambition of hosting Olympics, and our Prime Minister at his level has expressed that desire to host it in 2036. We have got AIFF talking about their desire to host FIFA World Cup in 2034. Now, these are some of the very, very strong messages and data points which makes us believe that we are definitely building a legacy over the next 10 to 15 years. And that's the excitement that I have personally when I talk about sports in India. Last but not the least, we have got 10 to 15 big education institutes talking about and launching and actually educating students in sports management, sports marketing. Now, there is a huge amount of talent that's also being shaped up from a sports point of view. These guys are going to be coming out and obviously helping us take this to the next level, right? And that's the journey.
Fair enough. I mean, and you talked about, we playing host to the Olympics or even possibly the FIFA World Cup. There's a larger context here and there's a larger picture here where I think, even the soft power, global soft power in sport has been moving towards Asia. What we saw in Qatar, what's happening in Saudi Arabia and stuff. We'll get back to that also. But again, the primary bit is we've still not addressed that cricketing point. The point is that when we talk about this legacy in the making, it tends to again revolve around two big talking points: cricket and the digital growth, the future for digital growth in India, vis-a-vis how cricket tends to be this catalyst for eyeballs. Now, in very specific terms, I want to understand what is exactly the market like outside of this space, outside of just the cricketing environment. If you could kind of help me understand that.
So please understand that we all talk about cricket today, right? I mean, we all talk about IPL, okay, which is a 2008 story. But cricket was actually built right from 1970s. It took time. It took 30 to 40 years for IPL to happen. Make no mistake, I mean, we all know that there was a time when cricket used to buy slots from Doordarshan, and today we're talking about cricket cricket being going the auction route, and I mean gaining almost about 48 to 49,000 from a media rights standpoint. So that's the journey cricket has covered. To me, it's a generational shift, Srini. Okay, I think it takes about 2 generations, and when I say generations, it's a generation of about 10 years. Okay, so about 15 to 20 years for that shift to happen. We are already seeing a massive amount of thrust been put on Khelo India or Fit India movement or even on TOPS program. Okay, our Olympians are trained great. I mean, I think JSW is doing a great job. Reliance Foundation is doing something phenomenal to build the Olympians. You have Tata Foundation doing a great job. You have an ISL, which we said that it's a 10+ years story. Now, all these things put together over a period of 10 to 20 years will have a massive community being built. Now, people talk about fans, right? I talk about communities because communities builds fans. It's never the other way around. Yeah, the moment community building happens, fan engagement obviously kicks in, and that's where the top dollars will start coming into the non-cricketing space. And when we are saying that a football or a kabaddi or a kho-kho or a volleyball is sustaining, it's a great story. Sustaining is not a small thing, because every business, look at it as a startup, okay? Right. Every new league today is a startup. IPL, we all spoke, right, in 2000 was a startup, okay? And some startups are profitable in 5 to 7 years. Some startups are profitable in 10 to 12 years. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and again, I mean, there is another talking point to this also, that do you need to look at sport necessarily from a profitable?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, it's value creation, it's community building, it's about bringing glory to the country, okay, and much more.
So I saw some of the numbers that you have released in terms of sponsorships and endorsements. Can you talk about, I believe sponsorships, not just in cricket, but across sports, has actually gone up, even in terms of endorsements? What is the industry been like?
Brand endorsement industry has embraced sport and sporting talent beautifully, Srini, okay? The growth that we have seen over 2022 to 23 is a staggering 20 to 24%, okay? Now, 24% is a great, so we are currently around 936 odd crores from a sponsorship standpoint, only sports. I'm not including entertainment or Bollywood or Tollywood here, only sports, okay? Obviously, again, driven by cricket, predominantly by the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, but the call out here is a talented Neeraj Chopra, a talented women's cricketing team, and I call them emerging players because
not cricket, women's. You don't bracket women's cricket with men's cricket, right?
I don't want to at this point in time, because cricket legacy was predominantly from a men's standpoint, okay? Right. I think our women cricketers have done a phenomenal job over the last 5-7 years, where they have created a niche and following for themselves, okay? So therefore, I would want that they are also emerging talent as far as we are concerned, okay? You obviously, so a Neeraj Chopra or a Saina Nehwal or a PV Sindhu or a Harmanpreet Kaur or Jemima Rodriguez. These are some of the talent in the sporting economy who have actually done a phenomenal job. And thanks to our advertising and brand marketeers who have also embraced them in such a positive way. So today these guys are driving, or these girls are driving the endorsement narrative from a non-cricketing and women cricket standpoint.
Yes,
so that's
I
a
want
great
to bring
story.
that discussion you want to have on the participative sports also. I mean, when I look at Mumbai Marathon year after year, it is such a huge property. I mean,
Yeah.
it's seen as a moment of pride when it happens every year. So, again, from that standpoint, is the Indian mentality changing from a sporting perspective?
Absolutely. So what is happening, Srini, sports is becoming democratic to a large extent. Okay. So don't compare Mumbai to everything. Today, I would want to bring in another sport, which is going to be a surprise for you, which is golf. The kind of awareness and the kind of people who would want to play golf, and not seniors or not the C-suites, they obviously are. But the younger generation is a great story. So I am seeing somewhere that over the next 4 to 5 years, we will have to look at golf very differently. We'll have to look at football very, very differently in the Indian context. So, and participative sports, as you say, I mean, you go to any big city, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and you will see serious amount of awareness on running, right? You said that everybody wants you to run a marathon, okay? And why not? Health and wellness is becoming such an integral part of our lives. And what is the first thing that comes to your mind when it comes to health and wellness? It's about fitness. Fitness is equal to playing one sport at least, right? So that's the excitement I have on all these data points, and that's the reason why we said that it's been 10 years for Sporting Nation in the making. I think next 10 years we need to do something different, and the different is we are building a legacy.
Fair enough. So you talk about legacy, let's keep the numbers aside. Quickly, very quickly, I was having this discussion with someone on tennis in India, and I said, you know what, how much money would it take for a youngster to start playing professional tennis in India or, kind of anywhere around the world? You know what? On an average, it costs parents around 50 lakh rupees per year.
Yeah.
If they really need to kind of push their boy into playing professional tennis,
Right.
child, sorry,
Right.
into playing professional tennis. Now, from that perspective, how can a common man afford? So, is the industry, while we are building a legacy and while we are talking big numbers, how exactly are we trying to solve this problem? We talk about basketball. We want, we take a lot of pride when we look at LeBron James and we talk about Stephen Curry and we talk about the legacy of NBA. But back here in India, if a child wants to go out and play basketball around his house, where's the court? Where's the infrastructure? Where are basic facilities available? So, much as we concentrate on the legacy building exercise, how important do you think is for India to look at these basics which are missing, which are outside of cricket?
Yeah.
It's just
So you have a very, very valid point, Srini. So I mean, I think we are getting there. So I think what you are essentially saying is we need to democratize sport overall. Okay. For example, how can we make playing tennis for a common man more affordable? Okay. I think somewhere we will reach that stage. Okay. We have made football affordable. We have made a lot of other sports affordable. We have made cricket affordable. I mean, every second nook and corner you have a cricket academy. I think sports like tennis or golf, okay, will take some time. Okay, because these are expensive sports, and these are not expensive sports only for India. These are expensive and premium sports worldwide. Okay, there's no taking that away, right? But I think somewhere it was important for us to establish the fact that we need to embark a journey where we are going to be competing with the world in the area of sport. Need not compete with every sport, right? But even if we are able to compete with 10, 12 or 15 sports, I think that's good enough.
Fair enough. And to wrap this up again, let's go back to the IPL. You track the IPL so closely, and I keep saying this, Vinit and his team do a great job in working alongside Indian cricket, especially the Indian Premier League, in terms of, kind of picking up sponsorships and looking at so many other areas. From that perspective alone, has the IPL been doing enough to grow from where it currently has been? I'll tell you my view from the outside. I have a very strong view that on multiple fronts, the league can do a lot better than it is doing now. Because where it stands today, it also runs the risk of stagnating. So I think the league can actually do a lot more in terms of, bringing in fresh new ideas. I would rather have yours right now.
See, I mean, there's always space to do more. Okay, I mean, there's always scope for improvement, right? I think at the scale at which IPL delivers, what it itself is commendable, and I think they have done enough and more innovations over the last 17 years to sustain the viewer interest. And I think if you look at the viewership pattern, or if you look at the advertiser interest, at no point in time we will be able to say that there is a less of a fan engagement, or there is less of a viewer interest going in IPL. So I think to me, even IPL is a 17-year-old story. 17 is nothing, Srini. Look at, see, we love to compare the West. We love to talk about
Still not even an adult.
the American market or the European market. I think we are only a 17-year-old IPL. Okay, we are still a teenager. I think give it some more time, and I think we will do far better than most of the developed markets for the kind of viewer participation, the government support, the private-public partnerships that we are talking about are been putting in. I think who would have imagined that we can talk about on this show or outside this show that India will potentially host a football World Cup, or India will potentially host an Olympics. When I was in my school and college, if that this would have been a distant dream for me. In my lifetime, this is going to be a reality itself is a very, very big positive and a great takeaway for it to be exciting enough for me to do whatever it takes to contribute whatever I can towards this journey. That's the spirit in which I would want to put this together. Yeah.
Can't argue with that logic. Makes all the sense, because India is 76-year-old. The NBA is 76.
Absolutely.
We talk about world's best league. The NFL is 105 plus years old. The EPL is 35 going on 40. So yeah, I mean that's pretty good a logic. The IPL is still just a teenager. Indian sports is still at a very nascent stage. It's still a growth charter going on.
Just one, imagine you talked about teenager, right? Teenager making world news. Isn't that great?
That's it.
Yeah.
So yes, and when I sit with Vinit, the conversation can just keep going on, but at some point we have to bring it to an end. I promise to have some more conversations on this topic of IPL alone, but that will be for another time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srini, for having me on the show. Great talking to you.